Perhaps... Not the wisest decision. What is it? Mm-hmm. Yes, you need me? If there's anything you need, If I can take a... Very good.
It's been quite a challenge to keep all of the records in order.
I have heard that there is a spiritual component to healing in the farming culture. That seemed to be true.
The days can be long for a farmer, but there is nothing I'd rather do. Hello there. I don't know your face. Are you lost? Well, I know you don't work here. You also haven't attacked. So being lost is the most sensible reason for your presence here. A growth farm isn't exactly the kind of place people seek out for a leisurely visit. Oh, so Ligiana finally found a replacement courier then. That's good news. She sounded nearly desperate in her last message. Well, friendly delivery person, I'll be your friendly package recipient. It's very sad what happened to the previous courier. His name was Shamid. He was a radiant soul, full of life and joy and dreams. All of it stolen away in the blink of an eye, to hear it told. He deserves nothing less than that. He was loyal, devoted, and steadfast in his faith. I know the Great Serpent judged him to be worthy, and that brings me some solace. Oh, good. It's definitely the right package then. I spent a small fortune on these spices. They're some of the rarest we have, as well as the most pungent. Cooking is my great joy, and the proper use of seasonings is the most important part. Thank you for this. I will. Now here's your payment. Travel safely, courier.
Groats complain
I
less
didn't
than
really
people,
discover
and
my
that's
life's
a blessing.
purpose until I began taking care of these creatures. Oh, newborn groats are very steady and sure-footed compared to other animals. They can walk and run with perfect balance, only hours after being born. Oh, groats don't do well on their own. Without other groats around, they become depressed and stop eating, even to the point of starvation. Oh, I was raised in the city, and when I was still young, my parents took me to visit a goat farm. My father wanted me to see how others live, to open my eyes to new possibilities. That day changed my life. I knew from the moment I set foot on this farm how I would serve. The Great Serpent had revealed my life's purpose, and I came to work here as soon as I was of age. It has been a fulfilling life. By the Serpent's mercy, we were safe from the worst of it. But in truth, nobody was really spared. Everyone either lost someone close or knows someone who did. And of course, there was the disruption to goods and services, the delivery of supplies, and so on. The disaster touches every part of our society. I just wish I could know the Great Serpent's reason. Why visit this calamity upon our people? Oh, groats have a much wider field of view than we do. They're not easy to sneak up on, as I learned when I was a child. That was the same day that I also learned that they have a powerful hind kick. Oh, you might not know it to look at them, but groats are excellent climbers. They try to get up to high places so they can see their surroundings. That includes the tops of crates and buildings, by the way. Oh, you might not know it to look at them. They try to get up. That includes... It was good to talk.
The groat is a majestic creature.
There is
don't you
something.
think?
I would like a chance to talk to you. If you are able. You have my attention. The people of Dasra owe you a great deal for saving them. Your dedication to House Barun is admirable. Most from the settled systems would have been content to watch them fall. After several generations, it will be a massive change to not have a Varun as speaker. But now, House Kadik will lead. How they deal with the Zealots and their agents out in the settled systems will be of great importance going forward. That is disappointing, if I am being honest. The lives of many people are dependent on the outcome of that choice. It was not one to be made casually. Thankfully, this transfer of power comes at a time of peace. You were right to vote against the Crusade. It would cause turmoil in the settled systems, and would put the people of Dasra at risk when they have had but a moment to breathe. I am glad it is not something to worry about right now. True. There is enough of that to go around. No matter what, the path ahead will be difficult. But at least there still is a path, thanks to your actions. I suppose it is time to see what other adventures await us.
Welcome, my friend. Are not the beauty and majesty of nature truly splendid? There is serenity here that cannot be found in the city. It is the ideal place to contemplate the secrets and mysteries of the cosmos. Just now, I was wondering why the Great Serpent chose the form that he did. Searching for the right words? What better place to contemplate nature? Welcome, my friend. Are not the beauty and majesty of nature truly splendid? There is serenity here that cannot be found in the city. It is the ideal place to contemplate the secrets and mysteries of the cosmos. A kindred spirit, then? Wonderful. Let us share a brief meditation in celebration of this meeting. Now close your eyes and breathe in deeply. Be calm. Do you feel that? It is the presence of the Great Serpent, omnipotent and all-seeing. Such divine communion purifies us and makes us strong. You may think this is a chance meeting, but I know the truth. The Great Serpent has a plan for us all, my friend. and this encounter is a part of it. So Ligiana has at last found a new courier. Great Serpent be praised. This package of dried and salted groat's meat will sustain me in my contemplations. So captivated am I by the Serpent's mysteries, I sometimes go days without remembering to eat. I know it's customary to pay upon receipt, but let me pose you this question. If we carry out the will of the Great Serpent, is that not the greatest reward of all? Compared to such divine favor, the worth of a few credits is a mere pittance. I see. Far be it from me to deny the will of the Great Serpent. I wonder what else he has told you, and why he has chosen you to hear his divine voice. Questions for another day, perhaps. For now, here is your payment. May the Great Serpent... What fate does the Great Serpent have in store for us?
I have work to do. Thought you'd catch me unaware, did you? Thought I'd be easy prey? Unless you want a hole in the middle of your chest, you'd better turn around and start walking. I suppose that's true. I was distracted and didn't hear you coming. You had me at your mercy, but you didn't strike. There's no end of trouble out here lately. We've got pirates and spacers circling like vultures looking for easy pickings. And that's to say nothing of those fanatics. Has the Great Serpent abandoned us? I don't know. Perhaps. Because the only thing that annoys me less than pestering strangers is my work. Machines and structures don't waste my time with stupid questions. I know the courier well, and you are not him. Tell me the name of the person who sent you, and prove that you are not a liar. Your predecessor had better manners. And he knew his place. I assume your presence here means that tragedy in this city claimed him as it did so many others. Poor lad. I won't apologize for my manner. Trust does not come easily for me in these dark days. That, and the constant pain in my back makes me poor company. I know. I fix machines because they don't try to start a conversation. I prefer the quiet. But now, at last, my medicine has arrived. The Serpent knows I've gone too long without it. No doubt he hears my loud swearing when I struggle to get out of my bed every morning. Ha! I wouldn't count on it. That miracle I doubt even the Serpent himself could perform. Take your credits and leave me in peace. Talking just makes me more irritable. And before you ask, yes, such a thing is possible. Go on now, get out of here. I'm busy.
great serpent guide you.
Perhaps it is not so.
Rasma is an interesting choice for speaker. She could change Dazra forever.
I'm sorry, but this wing of the hospital is under investigation. You'll have to leave. Even with the cataclysm, this is highly irregular. But not surprising. Kisrani is obsessed with transparency and often seeks independent help. I find this tendency unwise.
And by unwise, he means a complete disregard for operational security, rules, and regulations.
Possibly. And yet, despite what I said, and unsaid, she persists in doing so. So, we must come to a compromise.
A good compromise leaves everyone unhappy. This one was particularly miserable.
I will give you the keycard to Ukaru's computer. You will be able to access documents and correspondence for the past month. Any further access will require admin privileges, which I am not willing to grant. I apologize, but you are only given access to view the computer's records. Admin privileges are restricted to House officials only. Good point. I suppose our backlog would only worsen if that were the case. The cataclysm has made things difficult. I suppose, given all that's happened, exceptions must be made. You'll be granted temporary admin privileges to Ukaru's computer. That should be enough for you to do your investigation. Saffron, the halls of healing are extremely busy. We can't keep track of every individual that passes through. In particular, the patients. We had to usher one out of here just now, who claimed to have a crippling headache.
Given the patient himself was a headache, it's likely genetic.
The admin privileges I've granted you will allow you to view the access logs, however, that track the last users to sign in. It is highly unusual for anyone to display such disobedience, especially now. Such actions are tantamount to heresy. Loss of employment is the most likely outcome.
A beheading isn't off the table.
It would be done humanely, of course. Ukaru hasn't logged into his station for some time. I've had to process several write-ups documenting his absence.
Dereliction of duty, failure to serve, fireable offenses all around.
We've also had to shift resources and people to make up for his absence. Suffice to say, it has made navigating this current situation more difficult. Unfortunately, rather than use the proper channels, he chose to start his own investigation.
A very unfortunate choice.
I will not pretend to know the particulars of this case. I will say this. We are House Dul Kef. We have a reputation. We are professional. We are exacting.
We don't make mistakes.
Precisely. Now, to get back to the spreadsheets.
regardless of who access is provided. This unit has been repurposed from a medical bot.
Do not agitate the locals.
Smuggling
Many have
and
already lost
trade.
everything. They need no further troubles.
I pray that House Kadik does not open our gates outside.
Move. No. Loitering.
Serpent keep you.
I am cautiously optimistic about House Kadik taking power. It was an interesting choice that could change Dasra forever. I am cautiously optimistic. Feel free to buy them all. No one else is using them. My wares have been tried and tested by the brave soldiers of Dasra. It was an interesting choice that could change Dasra forever. I am cautiously optimistic. They will not know what hit them.
is never dull. I hope this place is well ventilated, and whatever experiments may have been going on are small, well contained, and inorganic. At first glance, it seems we are the only ones to come through here in some time. Expertly done. Let us see what was being protected.
So, the coordinates on the tracking device brought me to what looks like a supply depot. Lucky for me, it doesn't seem as if anyone's home. Hello? Hello? Okay, looks clear. Anyway, the main entrance was locked, but I managed to sneak my way into a vent area and into what looks like a security office. But there's too many crates and some have been emptied out. I need to override the computer, look at the manifest, and ping the tracking device I placed on the crates. I wonder if I can even hack into the security system and identify their exact locations.
Since we are here, we should take a look and see what is being stored.
Is there a lock you cannot defeat?
Warning. I am programmed to prioritize the completion of my task.
I see. You cannot escape the shrouding, accursed one. And now you and your friend will die! They've escaped through the vent! Find them! Take cover at once! Falling back! There is nothing.
attempting to evade my sensors. I am initiating a search pattern. It appears to be...
There you are.
I am resuming normal operations.
Stop me!
That brings us any advantage they hope to gain by keeping us in power.
I'll ask you again. Who else knows? No one! My superiors don't even believe there's missing shipments! And why is that? I don't know! They were all signed off by someone higher up!
If they knew that much, it's only a matter of time before they find out about my boss.
And what of it? If you are using this as a pretense to end our agreement,
My boss has no intention of doing that.
we will need assurances in person. We will send a message through an encrypted slate. The coordinates to Jandar's rest will be there.
I'll let them know. And what of this one? He's seen my face.
He's given us everything we need. Turn him to dust.
This is an active industrial site. It would be advisable to wear a hard hat. my tasks. Please proceed with caution. There is heavy machinery operating in this area. be advisable to vacate this area. Please do not interfere with my tasks.
Move on.
provide a security detail. My people are nothing if not capable.
Thank you, Envoy. I'll consider it. Was there anything else?
Yes, there was one more thing. Regarding the missing supplies, I was wondering if I could be of any assistance. Our agents mostly work in the settled systems, but I have contacts in Dazra as well. I can set up a meeting at the Halls of Obedience.
I appreciate the support. My mind has been frazzled as of late.
It's understandable. The accident has affected all of us.
You're right, and your concern is welcome.
I spend most of my time working at the Ministry of State. How can I be of assistance? I was at the spaceport, attending to business. I only witnessed the crest of the vortex emanating from the scaled citadel. It lasted only a moment. A flash in the sky. It was only the hours afterward that we understood the consequences of that moment. Oh, I assure you it was 100% personal. Tevina and I have history. She blames me for derailing her political ambitions. Without getting too caught in the seaweed, a long time ago, I received some bad intel from a source on a Zealot hideout. Tevina used that intel to launch an attack, and ended up taking out a camp of civilians. The incident was high profile, and the fault was attributed mostly to her. She's never forgiven me for it, and I fail to see why. It's petty and unprofessional for someone of her position. With regards to politics, these days I'm mostly an advisor. I focus on high-level concepts and strategies as opposed to the day-to-day operations. I let my ward Okeem handle all of that. He sends me proposals, I weigh in, and give my approval. I've even made him captain of my ship, the Cortege. I joke that I'm mostly a glorified rubber stamp. But my days working the field are over. So you overheard us. Well then, let me answer your question with a question. Do you think the cycle of violence can be broken? Or are some conflicts absolute? I wholeheartedly agree. We do not have to forgive, but we can let go. And why continue to fight if the reason for conflict is no longer an issue? Let's just say recent events have reminded me of an old parable about a father and two sons. The eldest son was dutiful, the youngest disobedient. But the father loved both equally, and the eldest resented this. One day, the youngest falls into a pit of quicksand. The eldest, filled with bitterness and anger, ponders, leaving him to die. The parable ends here, leaving the reader to contemplate the end. But I imagine that only by working together can a family prosper. And the alternative brings us both to ruin. I concur, and the infighting serves only to weaken House Va'ruun and Dazra. In my argument back there, I advocated for more workers, even if it meant reaching out to our enemies. And yes, I understand the reluctance with House Malin. Their crimes go beyond forgiveness. But I'm also not campaigning to conscript their soldiers. We need workers, healers, and engineers. People who can help rebuild Dazra, not tear it down. I'm surprised such a question can be asked with the city in such disarray. The problems are obvious, and yet those in power continue to emphasize patience and measured responses. Now is not the time for red tape. The more caution we exercise, the more people will suffer. I'm a loyal servant to House Va'ruun, and if it takes this supply issue to be resolved for us to address the personnel problem, so be it. Best of luck.
I apologize. The Envoy and I were just discussing matters of state.
In particular, I offered to help find the missing supplies. I have my people looking into the matter as well.
Thank you for your diligence, Envoy. On that note, I hate to take up any more of your time than I already have. And I'm sure you're busy with issues regarding your own house. If you don't mind, I'd like a moment with the Vindicator alone.
This is a personal matter. I am sure the envoy will respect our privacy.
Indeed. And your timing is apt. The cortege has arrived at the spaceport, and I don't like to leave the crew waiting.
Thank you, Envoy.
Executor.
I appreciate your discretion. The Envoy is a trusted figure, but you can never be too careful in situations like this. And while having the conversation here isn't entirely secure, we're pressed for time, so it'll have to do. So, now that we're alone, tell me, what have you uncovered? I was afraid of that. If only I had preached more caution. But after the accident, things were dire. Our resources were blocked. We needed those supplies, and... Indeed. But there's more going on here than meets the eye. If the Zealots are responsible, they must be punished. But one question remains. How would they gain access to the shipments in the first place?
The answer is both obvious and impossible to believe. Who would betray House Varun when so many are suffering?
That is a part I am having trouble with myself. But perhaps our loyalty to House Varun blinds us. This slate you found, it mentions a contact. Someone on the inside. This person would have to be well-versed in our operational pipeline. They would have to know where to route the shipments and how to clean the books. It seems unfathomable. But perhaps Hukaru was right. A member of the noble houses has betrayed us. It's very likely that is the case. As for which house, well, I'm not sure at this point. House Vithal would have the authority to put supplies on hold and confiscate them. House Kadik would have the intel and spies, and the supplies were ordered by my people at House Dulkev. Yes, but without coordinates, Jandar's rest could be anywhere on Varun Kai. We're going to need to enlist some help. I'd like you to speak with Tivina Vithal at the Keep. If that slate has coordinates, she may have the means to decrypt it. Myself and some others were having dinner at the meat house. From our vantage point, we couldn't see what was happening outside the scaled citadel, but I could hear the blast searing into my skull. I remember falling from my chair, trying to get my bearings in this period of eerie silence. And then I heard the screams. Do not let her cheery demeanor fool you. She has a reputation around these parts for being a ruthless hunter of heretics. If she doesn't know the location of the hideout, at the very least, she'll have a lead. My mind goes immediately to motive. Who would want to aid the Zealots? I want to be careful, but I will say this. There are members of the noble houses who have floated the idea of reconciliation in the past. But to make a suggestion is one thing. Without approval from the speaker, the act is treason. Well, if the implication is my cousin is the conspirator, his death disproves that theory. But I'm not averse to keeping that information between us. They are fiercely loyal to House Varun and are in charge of rooting out zealotry in our ranks. Only one thing troubles me, though. If a shipment were put on hold and confiscated, it would likely go to them first. Excellent. As for me, I must mourn my cousin's passing. I understand there's a shrine upstairs. When you return, meet me at the Halls of Obedience, where we first met. By Jinon's grace, we'll find out who the supply thief is and bring them to justice. You may have noticed, but I've been on the move a lot lately. I don't mean to alarm you, but I think I'm being followed. I'll feel more comfortable if we meet in a public place. Mujin suggested a security detail, and I think I may take him up on his offer. If nothing else, but for peace of mind. When you betray House Varun, there is only one kind. Serpent guide you, and be safe. We'll need to rely on us. Thank you for looking into this for me.
Things I would do if I had power like that.
I would be happy to take your money. Feel free to buy them.
Yes?
Chores.
It is good to see you.
Vindicator. I was wondering when you graced my office with your presence. Oh, you're a flatterer. Well, that will get you everywhere with me. In fact, I think you and I are going to be fast friends. But I realize that's not why you're here, Shall we get down to business? Excellent. I take it this is about the missing supplies. I may have some intel on my computer that could help you with your case. Well, look at that. The Great Serpent favors us both. It just so happens that one of my agents recently recovered a Zealot cipher key and dropped it off this morning. Here,
a copy of the key for your records. Well, as you can see, the encryption they're using is mind-numbingly simple. Take the slate number and multiply the even numbers by 2. Your slate's numbered 2032, which means the key is... Wrong. But don't worry, I'll crack it for you. I'll just type in the correct code and voila! Let's see what you've won. Looks like an all-expenses-paid journey to John Dar's Rest. Lucky you. Okay, scanning the coordinates, these point further north, hidden in Badlands. Clever, clever. Of course. Resources are thin, but maybe I can squeeze in a squadron or 2 should you get in a pinch. But that aside, let's get to the guts of the issue, After reading through the evidence, where do you think the supply thief is from? You can't be serious. Why would we want to help the Zealots? We're in the business of hunting them. Well, whoever the thief is, I think it's all but guaranteed you'll find more clues at John Dar's Rest. Now, since you have what you need, I'm going to turn my attention to other matters. I've enjoyed our time together, but as they say, fish and guests are quick to stink. Let's avoid that from happening to us. Better make haste. A good lead is like a puff of smoke. Hard to miss. But wait too long and it's gone. Well, I was in Jinan Plaza and had a full view of the whole thing. It was spectacular. A wave of energy sweeping over the city, eating everything in its path. The destruction alone was impressive. But what I'll always remember is the noise. The vortex itself moved swiftly, darkly. But the sound of it was a slow hum. Deliberate. I can't explain it any other way. Like thunder rolling after the lightning. The power of the great serpent. Unleashed. Well, the keep is where the army of Hasvaroon has been traditionally armed and trained. To fight and conquer will always be a part of our culture. Even in peacetime, the serpent is coiled and ready to strike. Zealots. Lots and lots of zealots. And if you're lucky, the traitor sending them our supplies. Remember, lose it. None. but might recognize the dates from Mukaru's list of missing supplies. I cross-referenced it with a list of ships leaving the spaceport after ours. There are multiple ways. Another time, then. You're still here? All must serve.
I will never grow tired of seeing it. Hello. Did you need me to carry? Right. Yes, a good team all... Is that it then? You can succeed at that before we are discovered.
Come on, go! There you are!
I'm going to enjoy this.
Good boy. I'm hit. I cannot wait to kill. Where did they go? Find them!
We have scared them off, it seems.
outsiders.
Well, either we press on, or we can walk off.
Out of here. This is for you. Take cover.
Wake up already.
Everything in the galaxy needs to come with us, you know.
You're too late, Vindicator. The contact has already returned to Dazra. And your handler, Kisrani, will die by their hand. We have dispatched our people to Dazra. The contact has agreed to smuggle them in and kill the one named Kisrani Dulkaf. Your journey, however, ends here. Because they are weak and unworthy. For years they cowered in their holes, leaving us to fight the war that Jinan began. They are one who has Jinan's ideals in mind. To make House Varun the might of the settled systems. Only by uniting with House Malin is this possible. Child of Jarek. Normally, I would not entertain such cowardice. But the speed of your arrival is suspicious. How did you find this place so swiftly? I wonder if the contact has betrayed us and fled to safety. Killing us would remove his only witnesses. It is unlikely such a thing would have simply fallen into your hands. We are not so careless. A leak is possible. Yes, and I doubt that even the Warden, despite all her bloodthirst, would find us so quickly. No, this reeks of foul play. It seems a bit more than that is at play. And it should not have been. It is highly suspicious. Very well. If we have been betrayed, then there is no bargain left to uphold. The name of our contact is from House Kadik. This slate will give you all the evidence you need. Goodbye, child of Jarek. Pray we do not meet again on more even ground. You have the evidence you require. Leave, lest the fangs of the void.
Here at Tasna's Rest, we follow the true path. In the shrouding, only those who walk among us will become prominent.
Brother Onamid. They are meditating in the shrine room.
We did not trust the supplier at first. But they have earned the right to commune with the children of Jandar.
Now would be a good time to reprioritize what we bring with us and what we leave behind. Or sell. Or throw away.
All must serve.
You're back. Did you uncover anything at Jandar's Rest?
To lose another is disheartening.
I had an inkling I was being followed, so I asked for a security detail to protect me. Mujin, does this mean he's the supply thief? Are you sure? Then I may be walking into an ambush, seeing as Mujin's the one who organized this meeting and supplied my security detail. The meeting takes place inside the Halls of Obedience. Will you watch my back? I want to avoid innocents being caught in the crossfire. If this is what I think it is, then let's be extra cautious. I don't know if we have enough evidence, If we're the aggressors here, it may be harder to prove. Let's wait for them to make the first move. I'm well aware and brought a weapon, but I'm still counting on you to be my dagger in the dark. Okay, let's walk.
For House Malene!
Okay, let's walk.
Always.
Your abilities.
So, the coordinates on the...
Jinan, bless you. I would not have survived that if you hadn't been here. I suppose humor is welcome at a time like this. And you are not wrong. In any case, now is not the time to dawdle. Our next move must be to arrest Mujin. He's a prominent member of another noble house. I'm slightly concerned about the optics of this. Some may say we are trying to shift the balance of power, and so to move forward, our evidence must be ironclad. No, it's safer in your hands. And when it comes time for the trial, I want you to deliver it. You're the only impartial person involved in this case. And besides, you did the legwork. You deserve the honor of submitting it. I am of House Dulkef. We are meticulous to a fault. Before we move in, I want to make sure we have opened every closet, looked into every crack. Thank you. This assassin's attempt will help our case, but we still need evidence tying him to Mujin. If you have time, check his office. There may be information connecting him to this individual. Yes, as a matter of fact, the bodies of the assassins. They may offer more clues. I'll have security look them over also, but if their ranks have been infiltrated, I'd rather you inspect them first. Good. Our case must be ironclad given whom we are accusing. Regardless, he must answer for aiding the Zealots and the murder of my cousin. Give me until the coming dawn, and I will summon the relevant parties to my office. Mark my words. We will bring him to justice with all 3 noble houses as witness.
I confess I am still not used to seeing such a new face. Especially not here with the
It's
council.
reassuring to see what we can accomplish when we
All
collaborate.
of Rasma's skills to the test.
You have served House Varun well. We are well aware of how we are perceived by people outside House Varun, what they might inflict upon us, given the chance. So, our survival has required a great deal of effort and planning. Grav jump coordinates are a closely guarded secret, known only to a few. And our agents have infiltrated every government of the settled systems. Data is carefully and quietly scrubbed from their maps. Those who manage to find their way here rarely leave. Were the circumstances different, you would have learned for yourself.
What did you need?
We have survived, but at such a great cost.
Serpent watch over you, especially for what you've done for us. My role as mediator will remain, but I believe the council will be needed more than ever. We've never had a speaker not of House Varun, nor has the speaker also overseen a ministry. I trust my sister to make wise decisions, but adapting to these changes will demand a higher level of guidance. Serpent Guide.
Question House Kadik's policies is to question the Great Serpent.
At every turn. It is little wonder why the Great Serpent...
Brother, since you've been accepted, I wonder if you'll see our influence on the settled system.
Vindicator, it's good to see you again. Perhaps the Great Serpent has blessed us with the second meeting to make up for the first one. A hostage situation is hardly the place to make a good first impression. You forgot me already. It's me, Sahima, the scientist from House Kadik. Granted, we did meet under very chaotic circumstances. And it's nice to meet you too. Now we can talk about the important stuff, like your favorite food. Mine is ice cream. Anyway, while it's good to take a breath and relax, I do like a good adventure. In fact, I have to admit, I'm a little envious of your situation. I'm stuck here in the house while you are traveling the stars, discovering new orbits, and building a bridge for the promised. Dazra is my home, yes, but I carry it with me. I couldn't be rid of it if I wanted to. As for family, well, I don't have anyone at House Kadik that would miss me much. I was hoping you'd say that. I promise you, you won't regret it. I don't want to brag, but I'm proficient at just about everything. Of course! Jinan Barun was a traveler, like yourself. He is proof that through exploration, we find our purpose. Oh, don't you dare. Don't doubt me like everyone else in my life. Because I know you're different. Yes, I don't look like a soldier. I barely pass for an adult. But I can hold my own. Great! And so you know, I'm not just any crew member. I have a lot of practical skills, and I soak up knowledge like a sponge. The Great Serpent has blessed us both with gifts. If we work together, I know we can help each other grow them. Ever since I can remember, math and science came easy to me. And as any herald will tell you, innate abilities like that are a gift from the Great Serpent. They're signposts, a map for the promise so that we may find the best way to serve his will. Not a lot of people know this, but I'm an expert with the sniper rifle. It's not so different from using a telescope. I've also studied ship reactor and EM weapon tech. I even developed a prototype for Varun hymns that's currently in production. All my research is now public, and the dangers of the morning device are known. To put it another way, the milk has been spilled. They don't need me to remind them to use a glass. And the coaster. You really should use both. Oh, thank you. I can't wait to start tinkering with your ship. We'll have to measure the progress in phantometers. But first, stupid question, but do you happen to know where my assignment is? Okay, got an assignment. Seems cozy. Heading there now. Any new orders for me? All things are shared between... I'm game, Captain. Heisenberg's principle states that all things have uncertainty, that nothing can be measured with precision. The same is true of the future. But I am hopeful that Razma will serve the role of speaker with honor and faith. If nothing else, I will have a direct line to her. We sleep in the same house. Not that I know of, but perhaps indirectly. When you place a hot cup of coffee in the room, it eventually cools to the temperature of the room. But the room in turn raises its temperature slightly as well. The coffee, no matter how small, has an effect. That is what I am. A little cup of espresso. That is certainly a choice. But as the uncertainty principle states, even your bad intentions might not bear fruit. For Dazra's sake, I hope you are either joking or wrong. Heisenberg's principle states, but I am hopeful, if nothing else. Then I will trust in your wisdom, as well as the great serpents, for they are surely guiding your hand. I'm not sure I follow. There's nothing to reconcile. Our beliefs don't contradict science. Traditional scientists may differ, but they have a history of being close-minded. It's almost as if the older you get, the more stubborn and rigid your brain becomes. Like bread. Oh, that's an even better analogy. Also, side note, I love when you quote scripture. Anyway, sorry if I seem a little defensive. I'm just used to people not taking me seriously. I'm one of the best scientists in the world, but I still have to fight for respect, because I look so young. And I respect you, but it's only because we engaged each other with an open mind. Others don't. And it's not just science. I get the same dirty looks when I preach the gospel of the Great Serpent. No one wants to be lectured by a child. But if I was bald and bearded, I bet even the accursed would become true believers. Those who do not believe in the Great Serpent, they are cursed to die in the shrouding unless we can open their hearts to his teachings. So maybe the issue is not with me, but them. Good, because I think I'm cuter without the beard. But now I want to know more about your beliefs. Who do you think created our universe? And by God, surely you mean the Great Serpent? But I do realize it's a popular answer among outsiders. I wonder if that word choice is intentionally vague, or if they have a particular form in mind when they use it? Because I've heard that term to mean many different things. But that's a conversation for another time. On that note, I think I need a break from this topic. Epistemological debates are fun, but exhausting. I'm not sure I follow. Traditional science... It's almost as... Oh, that's an even better... Anyway, I'm one of the best. And I respect you. And it's not just... But if I was bald... So maybe the issue... But now I want to know... Absolutely. I'm reminded of my favorite creation verse, written by the heralds of morning. And the great serpent, who breathed fire into the stars, who coiled the rocks that shaped the earth, who gave life to the promised in body and spirit, stood before all creation. On that note, I think I need a break from this talk. I'm self-taught, actually. My parents died before I could remember, and I was left in the care of the orphanage. But I left at a young age to train as a herald, so I could someday spread the gospel of the Great Serpent. Except there is one problem. I refused to speak. I was completely mute. That is a good guess, but I'm too young to remember. I just remember trying to speak, and finding no sound, no breath behind the words. Me too. But it took some time to get to where I am now. I was told to focus on reading, writing, and shooting. However, since I was left to my own devices, oftentimes I would make my own curriculum. And the more I read about Jinan Varun, the more curious I got about the physics behind grav jumps. But it wasn't until I met my father, Amon Kadik, that my path changed from herald to scientist. Yes, When we say all must serve, we mean it. It's just the manner of service that varies. But the base expectation is that we know how to fight. For myself, long-range weapons made the most sense due to my size. But I also trained with the growth dagger in the event I had to be sneaky and kill someone close. Razma and Jimal's uncle, on their mother's side. Due to his work, he was mostly removed from the politics of the house. But he was respected and had enough favor among the family to adopt me without much dissent. I concur. And the proof came soon thereafter, when I met my stepfather. We met in the strangest way. He was dealing with a mathematical problem, but came to the temple to pray for guidance. Oh, you should have seen the look on his face when I offered him the solution. It was the second most shocked look I've ever seen in my life. Maybe. The Great Serpent can be direct if he wants to. From there, we discussed all manner of scientific theory for hours and hours into the night. At some point, the sun began to cut through the windows, and the heralds began to spill in for their morning prayer. And that's when I saw the most shocked look I have ever seen in my life. Because they all realized what I didn't until that very moment. My voice had come back. That's what Amon said too. So he adopted me into House Kadik to train me as his apprentice. For the next 6 years, Amon helped me grow from an amateur physicist to the person I am today. And then one day, he just disappeared. No one knows why. No. He was always a private man, but it's a complete mystery. No one saw him leave, and there's no record of his departure. It's almost as if he vanished into thin air. It was. But I didn't have time to really process what happened because of the work we were doing for the High Council. Regardless, that day I not only lost a mentor, I lost my chief advocate. My colleagues started to ignore me. They didn't respect me as a scientist. So of course no one listened when I warned them about the morning device. In a strange way, I had lost my voice again. It was at the time. But given everything that's happened, it's almost reaffirming. It's odd to say, but the disaster is what gave me my voice back. There's a comfort in knowing history will remember me kindly, even if my colleagues will not. It's a snake with two heads, pardon the pun. Our elder Razma leads the Ministry of Conjunction, and Jimal, her sister, is a mediary on the High Council. That's a complicated question. In the noble houses, there are two types of family. The ones who are born into it, and the ones who are brought into the fold. I was adopted into House Kadik as a teenager because of my gift. Ever since I can remember, math and science came easy to me. And as any herald will tell you, innate abilities like that are a gift from the Great Serpent. They're signposts, a map for the promise so that we may find the best way to serve his will. Yes. On the one hand, I am valued for my contributions. But what happens when I can no longer contribute? What is my worth to the house then? Unlike a lot of my cousins, I didn't join House Kadik until I was mostly grown. And ever since I joined, there's always been an element of you don't belong here. That I'm only a Kadik so long as I'm useful. Herald, bless you. It means a lot to hear you say that. I know I like to project confidence and act as if I know everything. But the truth is, it's all an act. Whenever I talk about something, it's as if I have this voice in the back of my head telling me I'm wrong. And sometimes that voice gets so loud that I have to scream my own praises just to drown it. I know that in my heart, but still, I can't help but feel like I'm one mistake away from losing everything. As if the ground itself is like sand, sliding out from under me. Anyway, thank you for the talk. I know a lot of this is in my own head, and you've given me a lot to think about. If you don't mind, I'd like to digest it a little more before we continue. You bet. If you're in need of healing or prayer, talk to Hantini Rara. There is no better herald in all of Dazra. Of course, let's talk. It's only a remnant of what it once was. The scaled citadel, missing from the horizon, is a constant reminder of that. And yet, I still feel Dazra offers much to a visitor like yourself. To me, cities are like people. They have personalities, moods, and stories. Some days you want a teacher. Others you need a guide. And some days you seek neither. You just need a friend. Gathering your thoughts? Caught in a thought? Take your time. It's not a race. Has your power disconnected? Are you still there? Sorry, I'm not a mind reader. Although I did prototype a device once. Are you still there? Sorry, I'm not a mind reader. Although I did prototype a device once. Gathering your thoughts? Caught in a thought? Take your time. It's not a race. Has your power disconnected? Has your power disconnected? Gathering your thoughts? Sorry, I'm not a mind reader. Although I did prototype a device once. Are you still there? Caught in a thought? Take your time. It's not a race. Are you still there? Sorry, I'm not a mind reader. Although I did prototype a device once. Caught in a thought? Take your time. It's not a race. Has your power disconnected? Gathering your thoughts? Caught in a thought? Take your time. It's not a race. Sorry, I'm not a mind reader. Although I did prototype a device once. Gathering your thoughts? Are you still there? Has your power disconnected? Sorry, I'm not a mind reader. Although I did prototype a device once. Caught in a thought? Take your time. It's not a race. Has your power disconnected? Gathering your thoughts? It's rough and hazardous, like its people. But outside of our culture, it's also shaped the way our technology has grown. The planet is rich with natural resources, and we use them in our grab drive experiments. None of this is coincidence, of course. The Great Serpent called us here, knowing Varun Kai would provide for the promised. Somber, for all it has endured. But also resilient, for the rebuilding and the work yet to come. Dazra and its people will rebound from this tragedy. I am sure of it. Good to see you. Not at all. Ask away. It's only a remnant, and yet, to me, some days, and some days, a city is the perfect companion. It gives you fun, entertainment, and it's a great listener. Well, depending on where you are. By knocking with opportunity. Whispers, rumors, and gossip can lead to new adventures. You just have to lend your ear to them. Empathy for others. Patience for the lost. Discipline for what must be endured. And a working hand to pet the groats. It's rough and hazardous, but out the planet is... None of this is Herald's guide you.
If you have the time, I wish to speak to you. I have something I wanted to say. But I confess I am afraid of how you will react. You seem very sure of that. I am less so. I know that you said you prefer to be surrounded by others, unlike me. But Constellation means something to us both. And I must be honest about why. The little I have spoken of my history has been nothing but truth. I worked with smugglers. I have caused my share of pain and suffering. What I have left out, until now, is that all of that was done on behalf of House Va'ruun. My people. My family. I had no idea. I had heard that there were those who believed but were not born Va'ruun. It is good to meet one of you face to face. I can explain why I have not revealed myself. Several years ago, I intercepted requests from Constellation to access Va'ruun's space, speaking only of exploration. I was sent to infiltrate Constellation, posing as a former smuggler looking for a new purpose in life. Yes, well, you were not the only one. Several weeks after I arrived, I attempted to access secure records within Constellation's archives. Vladimir and Sarah were waiting for me. Quite an understatement. I was horrified. My failure would be reported to the High Council, and the penalty would be severe. The history of Constellation, where expeditions are sent, data on star systems House Va'ruun has not explored, some information on their members and goals. As you have seen, there is relatively little that would be considered classified. They do not. I have, for now, kept that information to myself. You and I have spent so much time together. It has been increasingly difficult to keep this from you. And I am sorry for that. Telling you this violates so many of the orders I was given. But it was the right thing to do. I can feel that. I hope that is true. I understand that this may change what you think of me. I know that you may no longer wish to associate with me. I believe that in this moment, honesty is more important than anything. No matter what happens next, I have appreciated the time with you, and I thank you for trusting me. Did you need something? Indeed I do. All yours. Was there more? That is all? Very well.
It is still hard to believe we will never see the Citadel.
What will Dazra look like 100 years from now if we open our gates?
You've been busy, Vindicator. Choose your words carefully. Convert or not, you're still an outsider, which is just a stone's throw away from trespasser. But before you proceed into that room, I must ask, do you have the proof you need? Is it solid? Yes, my intel says you came back with a slate in hand. I imagine the contents of which are incriminating. So let us speak frankly for a moment, if we may. Haste doesn't suit you. So before you go in there and report your findings, hear me out. The speed at which things have unraveled, it makes me wonder how much of this outcome has been orchestrated. Of course, I am not denying my role in all this. Yes, I approved to have the supplies rerouted. And yes, I ordered that they be directed to the Zealots. But the murders, the violence, these were not directives I had ordered. If I am guilty of anything, it's being a rubber stamp. No. I have kept my actions separated from both Razma and Jimal. My goal was to inform them once I had something more concrete. That all went out the door once Ukadudul Kef caught wind of the missing shipments. I offered to provide her a security detail, but I had arranged the assignment through my ward Okim. In fact, even my work with the Zealots was all done through him. Because we are all in need. Everyone was affected by the accident, including the people here. And if we are to reintegrate House Malene, we need to show them our aid isn't contingent on our abundance. How would it look if the moment our supplies had diminished, we kept them all for ourselves? I won't apologize for my actions. Everything I did for Dazra. A handful of supply shipments are a meager exchange for an entire clan of allies. Earlier when we spoke, you told me that the cycle of violence can be broken. United with House Malene, we can rebuild Dazra as the industrial and military force it was during the Serpent's Crusade. Which is why I asked that you listen to my proposal. Let me go. Allow me to continue my efforts discreetly for the betterment of House Va'ruun. We'll have to burn that location regardless. I imagine Tavina has likely sent her inquisitors to clear the place anyway. I trust you'll understand if I don't reveal the location of their next hideout. You disappoint me, convert. Why should I willingly confess and ensure my death? I'd much rather argue my case in front of my peers. I don't know what evidence you've gathered, but without anything concrete, it's your word against mine. We shall see which one carries more weight. It's your word against mine. We shall see which one carries more weight.
From what I hear, we got our man.
Thank you all for coming. I think we can all agree that the charges for this crime are quite serious. Theft of supplies, aiding the zealots, and the murder of my cousin. Which is why it comes with great shock that evidence points to a member of House Kadik as the thief.
Based on what evidence? House Kadik does not deal in trade. Your house does.
I would not be making this claim without sufficient cause, nor is House Dulkef the bearer of this information. Vindicator, the floor is yours. The slate lists you by name, Envoy. What do you have to say for yourself?
Is this what you called me to your office for, Kisrani? This is an absolute disgrace to your department.
You haven't answered my question, Mujin.
Nor should I have to. A single slate, which I might add is likely fabricated, is not enough to prove anything.
Is that so, Mujin? Or do you deny the words you yourself wrote?
I absolutely deny it. My computer has obviously been tampered with. This is clearly not enough evidence to even consider me a suspect.
Oh, you didn't know. We have piles of evidence, ship departure records, signatures, the works. And of course the kicker. Kisrani's would-be assassin.
Security has identified him as Okim Kadik.
Well, that's your ward, Mujin.
In fact, if I were you, Envoy, I would think long and hard about submitting to the guard peacefully. Given the severity of your crimes, the captain has the authority to do it by force.
I will cooperate, but this is by no means an admission. And make no mistake, the three of you will pay for this insult.
Make all the threats you want, Envoy. My decision is made. Guard, take him away.
As you command, Executor.
I don't regret my choices. Time will reveal them to be the right ones.
Now, that was satisfying.
Proceed. Vindicator. If you require aid, Anthony Rara at the hold of you may be able to assist you, if she can spare the supplies.
I appreciate you backing me up on this one. Warden Vithal had brought some evidence linking Mujin to the crime, but it's your evidence that makes me feel confident we can convict. All told, I'm extremely grateful. Ukaru was family, and I would not have been able to rest if I knew the thief had not been brought to justice. The guard will move him to lockup. You can visit him if you like, so long as he cooperates. A grim reality is, it's unlikely he will be there long. Aiding the zealots is a crime punishable by death. There are typically no exceptions. Add to that the murder of a state official and, well, he'll be lucky if his death is swift. It's a well-known secret that Mujin was not a popular member of House Kadik. I suspect he may have operated independently, and Elder Razma will likely deny any involvement. My thanks are yours. You had no personal stake in solving my cousin's murder, yet you did so with diligence and aplomb. For that, you will be well rewarded.
I've also handed over everything we have at House Vital regarding the case. Who knows what other crimes we can uncover while poring over the evidence.
I'll take this up with the captain of the guard. After that, our part in all of this is done. Jinan grace you for taking on this investigation. You've done a great service for House Varun and for Dazra. And on a personal note, I want to extend my gratitude for avenging my cousin's murder. With the accident and all that's going on, I haven't really had time to grieve, but closing this case might help me start that process. So for that, I thank you. Vindicator? We are a house that values efficiency and detail, and our elder Hazmek is no exception. When others rush, we are deliberate. When others speak, we are the first to listen. And when it comes time to act, it is we who are most prepared. The case is all but closed, in my opinion. But in the interest of due diligence, we are monitoring the flow of supplies much more closely. Any package put on hold must be approved by at least 2 executors. Oh, really? I'm sorry. It's just, given all that's happened, it's been so long since I had a normal conversation. I'm not even sure I remember how. But all right. Thank you for looking into this for me.